What do poor people in Japan eat? Poor people can eat very well in Japan, but that does not mean ideal. I am below poverty level, but I eat very well. I know many people who have a higher income than I do and still eat instant ramen, despite the fact that better ramen can be purchased at the same or lower price. At a festival there is a big pot of fresh mushroom soup for 200 yen per bowl, and the instant ramen, also 200 yen, sells out first. I will never eat instant ramen unless it is the only thing they serve at the top of the mountain. As for a more broad description, rice will be less quality and older. Does not taste as good, but it will fill you up. A loaf of bread can be 4 slices to 8 slices, same amount same price, but when I am feeling poor I get 8 slices. In all supermarkets there are sections for older foods that are still perfectly fine. Also, if you choose the timing right, you can get the good stuff at a discount because it will be thrown away otherwise. There are some terrible fast food shops that sell beef on rice or some other crappy menu that I will not go to because I lose money, can't finish it because it is so bad, so I throw half away. Tofu is cheap. A can of tuna or mackerel and a hunk of tofu is not unhealthy and costs 150 yen. $1. Milk is on the iffy side. If you drink a lot, or have a growing teen, it can get expensive, but generally it is cheap if used in moderation. Cheese is, well, what Japanese people call cheese, and still expensive despite not being real cheese. Fruit is where you get FD in the asterisk, and I don't mean bananas, they are among the cheapest. Finding fruit is tough. There are many fruit jelly products or fruit juices that are cheap and a normal poor person like me can afford them, but usually fruit is a special treat. Vegetables also, if you watch for deals, you can make do on some greens to add to your cup ramen. McDonald's is not cheap. KFC is not cheap. Most of those type of places are not cheap if you are poor. You are better off going to 7-Eleven and getting a deep-fried chicken breast and maybe a pack of bread to eat it on. My interactions with homeless people have shown that they eat quite similar to me. I just have higher quality ingredients and I also can afford a treat. In many cases their diets are not too terribly deficient in nutrients. I was poor in Japan. I was on a tight budget for the entire year I was there, and even more so during the first months, when most of my money was saved for utilities, accommodations and the such. My approach during that time was bulk buying and hunting for sales and promotions. There was this local supermarket with great deals, so I made sure to check it every so often. They used to have a nice discount on chicken breast on Saturdays, so I always made sure to wake up early and stock on chicken for 1 to 2 weeks, froze it, and it's alright for a longer time. Vegetables were also on my menu. The same supermarket often had sales for potatoes, carrots, onions, and peppers, as cheap as 30 yen per piece. Bean sprouts were as cheap as 28 yen per bag, and mixed fresh veggies were around 100 yen per bag. My favorite was a mix of cabbage, carrots, mushrooms, and bean sprouts. Eggs were cheap and versatile, and so was tofu. Noodles such as soba and udon that come in packages, with seasoning, were cheap. My favorite was yakisoba noodles, 3 servings with seasoning for something like less than 150 yen. Kitsune udon with broth, ready to eat, was like 80-100 yen per serving. Another thing that I used to buy was spaghetti, around 250 yen per 500 grams. Canned tomatoes for pasta sauce was a little more expensive, around 150 yen per can, but a can is enough for 2 to 3 servings. I made sure I always had rice and soy sauce for seasoning. Now, with this ingredients, I was able to have a nice variety of nutritious and healthy meals, and you only need basic cooking skills and a little imagination. My favorite, poor, meal, that I still crave from time to time, is fried egg on rice, seasoned with soy sauce, my interpretation of tamago cake gohan, as I don't like egg whites. I certainly live below the Japanese middle-class standard, plus I have a religious dietary requirement. I cook a lot at home. I bring bento to my workplace every single day. I buy frozen veggies and fruits from Gyumu Supa, thanked God for that shop. 1 kilogram of broccoli costs 198 yen, half or a third of the fresh one. Frozen fruits and yogurt keep me healthy too. Leftover section, deemed ugly or not too fresh to be sold, in Supa as my friend, I often found half-priced veggies and fruits. As for protein, I eat a lot of eggs, natto, and tofu. I rarely buy fish, but when I do, I buy the discounted one or fish scraps. They are perfectly fine but do contain a lot of small bones. What else? When I am in the mood of eating beef, yakiniku or shabu too, I do it at home with Australian beef from OK Store.